Let's be real. Money can feel loaded. Have you ever hesitated to ask for a raise, even when you knew you deserved it? Have you ever felt guilty about spending money on yourself, even for things that genuinely brought you joy? Have you ever downplayed your financial goals, afraid of being seen as too ambitious or too much? For so many of us, money and worth have been tangled together since childhood. Maybe you grew up in a home where money was a source of stress, secrecy, or tension. I know I did. Maybe you were taught that talking about money was rude or that wanting more was greedy. I've certainly felt that way. Maybe you internalize the belief that women aren't supposed to be the ones in financial control. But here's what I need you to hear: financial visibility is self worth in action. You are allowed to take up space in conversations about money, and abundance is not just for other people, it's for you too. Welcome back to Journey to Self, and we are continuing our Becoming Visible series. And today we are talking about one of the most uncomfortable topics for so many women: financial visibility, about breaking free from money shame, stepping into financial confidence, and owning your full worth. Before we dive in, though, let's do our intuitive moment. I pulled a card from the Work Your Light deck. It's an oracle deck. And the card that came through was Mintaken. This card carries the message: longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. What immediately struck me is how much financial visibility is connected to belonging. For so many women, especially in our second spring, money isn't just about numbers. It's about identity. It's about value. And yes, it's even about safety and belonging. The Mintakan energy reminds us that we often dim our financial light in order to fit in. We don't speak our rates. We downplay our desires. We soften our worth so we won't be too much. But this card whispers something different. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to shine. You're here to remember your value, not reduce it. So, as we move into today's conversation, I invite you to ask yourself, where have I been shrinking to belong? And what would it mean to belong to myself fully, abundantly, unapologetically? Let's hold that energy as we explore how to step into financial visibility. For our soul dive, we will cover how childhood shapes our relationship with money. For many of us, our relationship with money was formed long before we ever earned a paycheck. Think back to your childhood. Was money a source of stress and scarcity in your home? Did you grow up hearing phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that? Were you taught that women shouldn't handle finances, that it was a man's responsibility? Maybe you watched your mother depend on someone else financially, even when she wasn't happy. Maybe you were told that it was selfish to want money beyond just getting by. Maybe you were raised with the belief that it's safer to stay small than to ask for more. And so, as adults, We undercharge for our work, hesitate to invest in ourselves, and we feel guilty about making money, even when we've earned it. But here's what I need you to know: your financial worth is not up for debate. You deserve to be paid well for your time, your energy, and your expertise. And when you step into financial visibility, you claim the abundance that was always meant for you. Let's talk about what that looks like in real life. For years, I struggled with financial visibility. I've always had kind of what I would call a love-hate relationship with money. Um, and I don't really know why I call it that, but when I have money, I'm very generous with it, wanting to donate to charities and that. When I don't, then, the stress comes in and that I have, and I know so many women who even, I talked about the financial responsibility, and yet I know so many women that take care of the finances. Even my husband and I have talked about it before, and he handles his, I handle mine. We talk about it. We have separate accounts, but we also have a joint account. So it's a fine line, and it's one that we walk together. But for a long time, I would undervalue my work, hesitate to charge what I was worth, and feel awkward discussing money. Even when I was in corporate, I remember the first time I had to negotiate my salary because I, for many, many years, was in government work, and you didn't do that. There was a schedule, salary schedule, and you came in at a certain rate and you got certain raises. And when you got to the top, that was it. And when I retired and then I went back to work, I ended up working in the casino industry. And I remember applying for a director job and they asked me what I was asking for. And I had no clue what to say. And I lowballed it, I'm sure. They offered me more than what I was asking, but it was a struggle because even asking for raises after that, I never had to do that before. But one day I caught myself saying, I just don't care about money that much. And then I had a huge realization that really wasn't true. That was a story I had told myself to stay comfortable. That was my fear of stepping into financial confidence disguised as humility. Because here's the thing, it's not about the money, it's about what money represents: freedom, choices, the ability to support yourself and the people you love. And the moment I started treating my work, my value, and my financial goals seriously, everything changed. I stopped feeling guilty for wanting abundance. I stopped apologizing for charging what I was worth. And I realized that money isn't something to fear, it's something to claim. And so can you. For your inner reflection this week, I want you to sit with this for a moment. I want you to ask yourself, what were you taught about money growing up? And then ask yourself, where do you feel small or insecure when it comes to finances? And then what would it look like to step into financial confidence? Just let those questions sink in. Think about it, journal on it, meditate on it. You don't have to share it with anybody. This is for you. Of course, certainly you can talk to a coach like me, but this is really for your inner reflection. For our whispers of wisdom, many of you have probably heard of Jen Sincero, and she has a quote that I love, and it is, "You having money doesn't take away from anyone else. It simply means you're able to live your best life and help others do the same." Think about that. Wanting financial security doesn't make you selfish. Wanting to charge your worth doesn't make you greedy. Wanting more for yourself doesn't mean taking away from anyone else. There is plenty to go around. You are allowed to desire abundance. So, for your empowerment action this week, I want you to take one step toward financial visibility. Option one, ask for what you deserve, whether that's a raise, a higher rate, or better financial terms. Option two, track your spending and income. Bring awareness to where your money is going. I can tell you when I've done that, and I still do it, it's so eye-opening. When I get away from it and then I get back to it, I realize what I'm doing. So it's accountability for me on my end, and it's just for me, but it helps me really understand where I'm spending my money so that I can make informed decisions that are aligned with my values. And option three, say yes to an investment in yourself without guilt. And if you're ready to shift your money mindset and step into financial confidence, my Second Spring Awakening coaching program is designed to help you release money shame and claim the abundance that's waiting for you. You'll find the link in the show notes. So let's talk about how to step into your next chapter together. Money is not something you need to fear or shrink away from. You are allowed to have financial confidence. You are allowed to take up space in money conversations. Next week, we're going to talk about spiritual visibility, how to own your intuition, connect with your inner wisdom, and trust yourself fully. If today's episode spoke to you, share it with a friend who needs this message, and make sure to hit that subscribe and follow button so you don't ever miss an episode. And until next time, be true to you.